Okay, welcome to video 6 here. We're going to talk about sequences and application / exam problems. So these are problems that we've seen on old exams and things that you should know for your exam. So which formula below represents the sequence 432, 72, 12, 2? Well, if I look at my answer choices, I can see that 2 of them are something being multiplied to an n minus 1 power. Well, those are exponential functions, which means that they're geometric sequences. And these ones over here with the plus n minus 1 times 1/6, well, that plus, this tells me that this is arithmetic. So first, let's figure out, is there something that we're adding each time? And if I look 432 to 72 to 12 to 2, definitely not. So I think that it's definitely a geometric sequence. So I can cross out choices 3 and 4 because those are arithmetic. And then if I look, I think that it's either by 1/6 is the common ratio, because remember, our formula is this a sub n equals a sub 1 r to the n minus 1. So a sub 1, the first term, well, all of them have the first term is 432, so that doesn't help me. R, the common ratio, well, are we multiplying by 6 or 1/6? I definitely think we're getting smaller here, so I know that it's 1/6. And we could check. 432 times 1/6 does give us 72. 72 times 1/6 is 12. So that one is the correct answer. So remember, whenever you do these questions, you should always look to see, can I narrow it down so I was down to a 50-50 shot, and then to determine what your final answer is. Okay, number 2 here says the third term in an arithmetic sequence is 10 and the fifth term is 26. If the first term is a sub 1, which is an equation for the nth term of this sequence? Well, if I know that it's arithmetic, I know that it's going to be like a linear function, and that makes sense because these are all in what looks like y equals mx plus b form, only written as sequences. So those make sense, but that doesn't help me eliminate any options. But I do know that I'm looking for an equation for the nth term of the sequence. The first term is a sub 1. I don't know what that one is. The third term is 10, the fifth term is 26. So this is a situation where I'm given 2 different terms. They're not one away from each other, so I can't really figure out what the common difference is. So I definitely think that this is a candidate for a linear regression. So we write those by starting with a table. So remember, we start with the sequences. The third term, that's the x value or the n value, so that's 3. Has the value of 10 with it, and then 5 with 26. So then we go into our calculator, and remember that we do this by going to Stat, Edit, and if you have something in there already, you're going to want to clear it out. You do that by going up, clear down in L1 and L2. Then we're going to put our x values or n values here in L1, and we're going to put our y values or a sub n in L2. Once we've done that, then we're ready to go back to Stat, over to Calculate, down to a linear regression, since I know that this is an arithmetic sequence, so it's a linear function. Then I know that from my calculator, we can write down everything that's on the screen. So y equals ax plus b, that's just the equation because it's a linear regression. I'm going to write that at the top. Remember that we need to explain or say what we're doing. So doing all these things and writing down L1 and L2 and a lin reg at the top helps us to know that you went to your calculator and that's where you got the answer. Then I write down the screen y equals ax plus b, since it's a linear regression. A equals 8, b equals negative 14. And we can write that as y equals 8x minus 14, but since it's a sequence, we want to replace a sub n for y and n for x, since we're just using an n in place of x. And then if I look at my answer choices, I can see that choice 2 is the correct answer. That matches my linear regression. Now, remember, since this is multiple choice, you can actually go the opposite way. If I know that I want the point 3, 10, and 5 with 26, I could put this a sub n into y equals, and then put in my answer choice and see if the table gives me a third term of 10 and a fifth term of 26. So there's really 2 ways to look at this, but the linear regression is very important as far as going into the part 2, 3, 4s. But since it's a multiple choice, you can always just use it this way and check the table. So those can go both ways. Okay, we'll continue doing this in class tomorrow, but you just need to remember all of the things that go with the sequences that we've learned up to this point will all help you answer these questions. It's just an extension of what you've already learned. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.